What's good, everybody? Welcome back to Whole Views, and today we're going to be discussing and comparing the Powerbeats Pro versus the Apple AirPods, and just doing a little breakdown comparison between the two. Which one wins, which one loses. Subscribe to the channel if you haven't so far. We get most of our views from the unsubscribed. If you like reviews and reactions, those tend to be what we do here on the channel. We might throw in a social commentary type video. We might throw in a Firearms Friday type video. Just doing a whole bunch of different things on the channel. And I would love it if you would drop a comment about any other topics that we tend to cover. Here today, we're going to be discussing and talking about the Powerbeats Pro versus the Apple AirPods. Comparing the Pro version of anything to the normal version of anything else is not going to be a fair comparison. But I was gifted this pair of Powerbeats from my producer. He had them, he no longer utilized them, and he gifted them to me. So now I have the opportunity, a unique opportunity, to compare two different wireless earbuds, both produced by Apple. Ultimately, you're giving your money to Apple if you buy either one. But I did want to compare the experiences of having an in-ear Pro version versus the kind of like sitting on your ear, not as noise canceling, differently designed AirPods versus these Powerbeats. So we'll get into those categories. The immediate and easiest comparison to make is that the functionality that exists with the Powerbeats Pro is going to be a much better experience than you're going to get with the Apple AirPods. But it's not the end-all be-all functionality. So let's get into the different categories, functionality being the first one. The Powerbeats, they have the ability to switch songs, to end phone calls, to raise or lower the volume on that said phone call or on that said phone, or switch back and forth between songs. You can do all of this with different actual clickable buttons that are on the elongated part of the wireless headset. So to me, that functionality point has to go to the Powerbeats, because that functionality just doesn't truly exist with the Apple AirPods. So point for the Powerbeats. Portability. Portability would have to go to the Apple AirPods. As you can see in my hand, the Powerbeats are a very much larger case, larger to put in your ear. This Apple AirPods case is much simpler to put on a keychain and keep with you at all times. The smaller size does make the AirPods more prone to being lost, but the easy solution for that is a $7.99 little keychain case that you can slip these into, put them on your keys, wherever your keys are, your AirPods are, slip the whole thing in your pocket, and you should be good to go. So point for portability to the AirPods. Ease of use would be my next category, and the chip that exists in both of these make it a basically dead conversation, because setup is as simple as opening up either case near the device that you want to pair it to, pressing one button and waiting for that device to then be paired. And then you can go into settings and change the names of anything like that. And it's just a very easy experience when you have an Apple iPhone, an iPad, or anything like that, and you're trying to pair either one of these devices. So pairing would make this a dead even category. But we're not just talking about pairing these pods to a device. How do you use these? You use them and make them functional by putting them in your ear. And to be quite honest with you, if you're not familiar with the Powerbeats setup, you will have to fumble around with that thing. I won't show you here because it will mess with my audio or my video, but it's difficult to me to do one-handed, just sliding that AirPod over, the Powerbeats over the ear and making sure it's well in place without hanging up on the person that I'm trying to talk on the phone with, or skipping or pausing the song or podcast that I'm listening to. So I actually will give the point when it comes to ease of use to the Apple AirPods, because it's just much simpler to slide the little pod out of the case, put it in your ear, it will pick up the conversation, it will pick up the music that's playing, it will pick up the podcast, and it's done. Both of them work the same, but just putting it in your ear, slightly more difficult. So I'm giving the point to the AirPods. Sound. The punch and the bass that you get with the Powerbeats is unmatched by the AirPods. When it comes to listening to music or a podcast, these Powerbeats are the way to go. It probably has something to do with the design and the fact that it actually goes into your ear, but the AirPods do not stand up against the Powerbeats. Point to the Powerbeats when it comes to music sound or podcast sound, or even if you're watching a movie. Powerbeats, the way to go. Phone call quality. Here's an area where the Apple AirPods tend to shine. Now, I know I'm of the older generation where we actually have conversations with people on the phone. That is not something that everybody does with their cellular device. A lot of people text, a lot of people FaceTime and things like that. They snap back and forth, but they don't necessarily hold conversation. I am a person who holds conversation, and the AirPods shine way hard in this category over the Powerbeats Pro. I think it has a lot to do with the AirPod design and that extension that it has, and the microphone being at the bottom and an opening that allows it to pick up your voice just a little bit better than the Powerbeats. The description that I have from my wife, who I spend lots of time on the phone with when we're traveling to and fro different locations, as well as my producer in pre-production phone calls that we have talking about a movie or talking about a trailer or just having a discussion about something that I may or may not tackle on a video. He'll describe me and she'll describe me as being just a little bit lower in audio than I am when I'm talking on the AirPods. AirPods come through just a little bit more crisp, a little bit louder in conversation. So gotta give the points here with the phone calls to the AirPods. Battery life. This is actually a very close one between these two. I would actually have to give a slight edge to the Powerbeats though. I did like a 2-week study of having the Powerbeats in my ear, either the left or the right, just in my ear throughout the day. That was kind of a long-term comfort test, and they're both fine in that regard. I would call them even in that regard. But I could listen to podcasts, I could listen to music, I could just have the sound from whatever was on my phone playing in my ear in the Powerbeats for just a little bit longer than I would with the AirPods. The AirPods tend to go dead without warning. They don't hold up well to long phone call conversations. I'm talking like anything over an hour might give you some trouble. If you're watching a full movie, you might get a 2-hour movie in, but by the time you get to the end, you may start to have one of these die on you, depending on where you are when you start watching the movie with the charge level of the pods. So I'm giving a slight edge to the Powerbeats because, again, 1 week with the pods, 1 week with the Powerbeats, leaving it in 4 or 5 hours at a time, just doing random things. The Powerbeats seem to hold up just a little bit better, just a few more hours of listening time or even talk time with the Powerbeats. So Powerbeats. The price is, kind of iffy. AirPods, the last time I checked, were $129. Powerbeats, the last time I checked, were $199. So if you're being cheap, you want to get the cheapest available option, the AirPods are the way to go. I guess you would give the edge to the AirPods in that regard. You could probably find Powerbeats on sale at some point throughout the year, but if you're finding Powerbeats on sale, you could probably also find AirPods on sale, and it'll be like a what and what kind of situation. So got to give the slight edge to the AirPods when it comes to the pricing, but you're paying upward of $100 kind of no matter what. So that is what it is. I guess it all comes down to what is the philosophy behind the earbuds that you want. If you don't want to be disturbed and you care about the music quality, the audio quality, and you want the ability to keep your earbuds in at all times and deal with the distractions around you, whether that be answering a phone call, lowering the volume to talk with somebody as you walk past them in the hallway, skipping to the next song, having the best sound available to you throughout the day, the Powerbeats would probably be the way to go. Battery life is just a tad bit longer, sound quality is a whole lot better, and again, the functionality allows you to keep it in and just go about your day. And somebody's talking to me, pause, what's up, da da da. Or, hey, I'm cutting grass, let me load this volume down while I'm doing this, and then bam, 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 get away from the lawnmower, go do stuff. Okay, I'm back with the loud lawnmower, let's crank the music back up. All that stuff is available to you to do. You don't have to pull out your phone each time you're doing that stuff with the Powerbeats at your disposal. For me, the Powerbeats come into use the most when I'm doing yard work, when I'm exercising and I don't want to have music blasting in the area. Like, I'll put the Powerbeats in and I'll do 3 miles running. I'll put the Powerbeats in and I'll do the whole yard and, hedge the bushes and all these different things. That is where the Powerbeats tend to come into play and shine. if I'm at school or if I'm at home and I'm trying to listen to Foxword Friday because I'm a big Bomani Jones podcast listener, or if I'm grading papers and I just want something to be on in the background, I feel like the Apple AirPods are just the better choice for me in most of those situations, because the noise cancellation with the Powerbeats can kind of drown people out sometimes. And I'm a husband, I'm a father, and I'm a teacher. So I'm gonna be walking the halls and I'm gonna walk past people that may want to converse. I need to be able to hear that. If I'm in the house and I'm listening for my daughters who are in another room, I wanna make sure they're not arguing and fussing or nobody's hurt themselves, the AirPods is kind of the better solution for my situation. Or, you know, my wife is out conducting exercise classes and then she's on the way back and she wants to call and check and see if we need anything. I want to have a crisp, clear conversation while I'm having that discussion. So the AirPods is probably what I need to keep at closest reach when I'm just around the house or at the school. So that's kind of why I personally give the edge to the AirPods, and they are my go-to. But the Powerbeats do have a special place when it comes to working out in yard work. Anyway, I've gone on long enough. Let me know if you agree with that breakdown of the Powerbeats versus the AirPods. Both are very, very good. If you can afford either one, pick the one that works best for you. I was just giving you my experience of using them both. Enjoy yourself, guard your heart. Thank you for watching, and come back and check out more videos.